case of cards, and a lot of them. What a collection. I've got a few along here to show you. I can't show you too many, it's a bit exhausting, but some of them are extraordinary, really extraordinary. This lot here, for instance, is what's wrong with these playing cards. You can see at once what's wrong with these. The Queen is supposed to be not holding a weapon, but it's supposed to be, and it's supposed to show both her eyes. This, of course, is the wrong colour, but let's have a look at the cards themselves and see if we can spot some of the mistakes they've made. So, ace of diamonds, yes, but hang on, there's a heart there, look at that. Two of clubs in red, no, three, long layout, and so on. So lots and lots of mistakes to look at and explore. And I'll get some other colours out. And another row here of things. These are all the same way up, which is wrong. And so on and so on. And then there's a few from further down. It's a nice test of observation, this one, actually, which I enjoy. I think you'll find, well, that's obviously a misnumber of the sevens. And if we go to the bottom ends, goodness me, what have we got here? Jack and Queen, Queen. Well, yes, she's holding flowers for that one, but she's not holding something here. Some of them are very subtle, actually, these ones, and you'd have to look quite hard at them to understand what they are. But they are, for kids, quite a good challenge to see how observant they are at finding out cards which have got something wrong with them. Every one of those has got something wrong with it. And you can play with them still as a deck of cards, but it's a bit of fun to try and find out what's wrong. By contrast, here's one which is all right, perfectly right. It's just that it's transparent, so you'd think you'd be able to look inside the card. Well, you can look through the card, but it doesn't give you its value. Let me show you why. So here's a few cards here, and I laid these out, and of course they're all completely ambiguous. You can't say what's in them. You can't say what's inside them, but when you turn them around, look, you've got a lovely display, very clear display of the values of the cards in these top corners, which is what you need, of course, to see it, because they're like that. But that side is completely ambiguous or unknown, it's concealed. This one is completely visual, and you can see exactly what you're playing with. So it's a nice little trick thing where you think you're going to have fun playing with these cards because you can't you can't see the value, and it turns out you can see the value even though they're, but I'll leave some of these out actually because they're a fun idea. Some of them upside down and some of them the other way up to show what a clever bit of design you've got in there. Put the rest in there. There's one here which I picked up a long time ago. This is one of the first ones. I was told by, I think, my parents that in the 1930s there's a fifth suit called Royals, clubs, diamonds, hearts, spades and Royals. I came across one quite early on which was called the six suited cards, which had clubs, diamonds, hearts, spades, and they invented two other suits which they called wheels and rackets. And I'll show you what they look like by fanning the cards like this. So we're starting off with ordinary looking cards, and then we come across something strange like that. That's the Queen of Wheels. Goodness me. And then there's the something of rackets. No, there's more wheels there. Let's come across a rackets toy. Oh, there's a jack of rackets there. Look at that. I think they're trying to celebrate two particular features of the 20th century, which is wheels for travelling, the wheel of a ship, and rackets for sport, which is another feature of the 20th century. So it's decks of cards with six suits in it, not four, and there's lots of games you can play with that, which of course would be impossible to play with normal cards. So I'll just leave a few out to show that exists. There's a very clever idea which I've never come across before called Indiscretion. This is a weird idea, but I don't think I've ever seen it anywhere else. It's a deck of cards in which it's a normal card this way, perfectly normal, except the colours are rather changed because they have green clubs and blue diamonds. But on the other side of the cards, you see they've actually tell you which the suit is, but not what the value is. And there's various games you can play which play on this fact that they can only be used for these cards. You know the suit, but you don't know which of the 13 cards is represented on the back side. And it's called Indiscretion. So you partially know what's going on, but only partially. And there's some quite clever games invented which uses cards of this ilk. I think it's a lovely idea because the cards are such a mixture. Then there's one here for blind people. I've had a few blind friends, including one in a choir I was singing with who read everything in Braille. These are quite normal cards and they don't look anything strange except when you hold it up very carefully, you see this top corner where the ace is, put your finger there and you immediately detect, if you're a blind person, that's the Braille for ace, ace of spades. They know exactly what it is. And each of these has a different pattern for people with these sensitive fingertips to say what the value of the card is. Hold a meld and instantly, by running your fingers over it, you can tell what card you're playing with. A great help for people who are blind and want to have the enjoyment of playing with cards, playing cards. So a Braille deck, and it's produced by the Bicycle Deck Company of America. I think it's a very, very nice thing to put in for people to enjoy cards. And the last one is a spectacular one. It's called a dragon deck, and you'll see why it's called a dragon deck when I fan it. On one side, it's got normal cards, ace of spades right the way through to the king of diamonds. We turn it upside down and reverse fan it, you get what appears to be completely blank cards. Completely blank. Well, I'll have to cover that up, but you got the idea. Now, stack it again, turn it round, and no, keep it that way, but this time we're going to fan it forwards and something quite incredible happens. This is spectacular. You see something appearing which is in segments, but an enormously large, multi-eyed dragon. Look at that. Look at the dragon's face. Isn't that incredible? Well, a good cardsman would do a fantastic even fan, which I can't do. I don't practice enough, but that's a spectacular one. A normal pack of cards, but in another corner it's completely blank, and in yet another corner it's a normal, regular playing card in which you can play, and the backs, of course, are completely ambiguous, so you can use it in ordinary playing cards, but look at the spectacular effect you get from when you've got them in order to create that.